Alright, so this might look like a really weird, creepy video. I realize I look pretty red, and I'm driving. It's night, heading to a gig in St. Cloud near Orlando. But it is day 5 of gratitude, and I gotta do what you gotta do. I got my flashlight on my phone facing my face because it's just so dark in this car, but hopefully the video turns out fine. But anyway, I'm gonna go through my 4 things of gratitude on day 5, and what better to start with than, you know, playing music. I mentioned the band this week, that I was grateful to be in the band, but I'm grateful to be a musician, you know, first and foremost. My uncle turned me on to music in my early 20s. He always played guitar, and he owned a bass that I bought from him, and that was my very first instrument, was the bass guitar, which I love the bass. I still play it a little bit to this day, when I first started using it, I got into bands and stuff like that. It wasn't until later that a friend of mine had a drum set at his house, and he taught me a really simple rhythm, and I picked it up pretty quickly and fell in love with the instrument. And at the time I worked at UPS. I left UPS, and when I left I got a little bit of money. So with that money I bought a drum set, started taking lessons, and the rest is history. And I think that's an important thing to be grateful for me, and maybe there's other people like me that can relate to this, because most of the time I'm incredibly hard on myself. I don't really give myself a lot of credit for the skill level that I have. But I remember the first time I played the drums, how difficult the drums were and how much concentration and practice it took to get good at the drums. So it is a really good opportunity to appreciate the fact that I can hang with other musicians and play great gigs and just have a blast behind the kit at the level that I'm at, even though in my opinion I consider to be an average level. So that's the value of being gratitude, why it's important to be grateful, because you can appreciate where you are. And on that note, my uncle Dana, the one that got me into music, I'm incredibly grateful for him for being the human being that he was. He was so supportive of me as a musician. Him and my Aunt Karen would come from their house 3 hours away and stay at our house over the weekend and support me and watch my bands and encourage me. It was a blessing to me, more than, I don't know if he ever really appreciated it, or I don't know if he ever knew how much I appreciated it. He died this year, unfortunately. He had dementia, and it's a big loss for me, for our family. You know, with dementia, it's such a strange disease because you lose them before you actually lose them, and I lost him probably over a year ago. I was lucky enough to have some pretty great conversations with him before he passed, but you know, you lose them before you lose them with that disease, and it's pretty sad. But anyway, I'm grateful for my uncle, and always will be. I'm forever a changed person because of him. And to change it up a little bit, I'm driving to my gig right now, and I'm grateful that I drive. You know, not a lot of people drive. Well, a lot of people do drive here in the United States, but there are some people that don't drive. They don't get their license. They don't have that privilege. Maybe in other countries you don't have the privilege. I don't really know. But I'm grateful that I have, you know, the opportunity to be able to explore via a vehicle. Got my license a long time ago, and I'm just grateful to be able to drive and have a vehicle to do that, and vehicle to transport my gear and all that stuff. And then the last thing that I'm grateful for, and this one is a little bit deeper. I'm grateful that I don't let fear rule my life. I definitely have fear in my life, and I definitely have had areas where fear has ruled my life, but for the most part, I don't let that voice, you know, govern who I am. I am willing to push past it and try things that I've never tried before. I mean, I literally wouldn't be playing music, if it wasn't, you know, for the ability to push past fear. I wouldn't have moved to Florida. I mean, that was probably the most scary thing that Mindy and I have ever done, is, you know, leave the state of California where I was born and raised, and I thought I would live there forever. But to move all the way across the United States, 2,600 miles away, not knowing whether Mindy would have a job, not knowing whether I would like the job that I was taking, and just taking the chance. And, you know, then that led to the current thing that we're doing, where we actually left those jobs and we're taking a chance on something else, which we really had no business doing, if I can be honest. We weren't monetized, we aren't monetized, and we just jumped in because we just didn't want to do it anymore. So, you know, maybe that can be foolish at times, maybe not. But I am grateful that I'm not afraid to try something, to take a chance on something, and I don't let fear rule who I am as a person. I mean, I do a little bit. We all do a little bit, right? We're all a little bit concerned. I think there's layers to it, and I think you work through those layers, and I still work through those layers to this day. But, you know, for the most part, I just push through, and I say yes when maybe I, you know, would have said no 1,000 times, you know. So anyway, that's my gratitude. But I'm going to take you through the day a little bit today. I've got a gig coming up, like I said. I'm driving there right now, and I'm going to show you a little bit behind the scenes of what it's like at a gig for me. Not a lot, but a little bit. I'll show you that. It's fun. I love doing it. This is a cool place we're playing at. It's called the Garage Bar. There's already a drum set there, so I don't have to set my whole kit up, just set my cymbals up and stuff like that. But I'm going to show you how that goes, what that setup is like. Probably show you a few songs as we play them. But so day 5, gratitude. I'm grateful that I'm a musician. I'm going to show you a little bit of what that's like.
She never lets me down when I've had a rough day. She never wears a frown unless she knows I'm in pain. She waits for me.
There's the setup for tonight.
She talks to me in her own special way. I fell
Your ism, schism, came a time.